welcome in. If you've stumbled across this video, kids.
Well, I am quite the perfectionist, so this is going to be interesting to see if I can even get through 5 minutes of this.
Hi everybody, welcome in, kids, because today I think it's time we have an honest discussion about Throne of Glass. My name's Katie.
I'm gonna try not to be too awkward this whole time. Maas.
So before we begin, I think I have a few disclaimers I want to address. I know I'm late to the Throne of Glass game. I am aware it's not 2014, and we're all sitting here in quarantine in 2020, and this is the first time I've ever read this book. People read books for the first time so many years after they were originally written. It's been 8 years since this came out. It's not even a decade. Relax. Second point is that I'm gonna criticize a lot of things about this book, but frankly, Sarah J. Maas doesn't care because she's so successful, so it doesn't really matter what I say in the long run because she's got a bazillion followers and I have none. So all the respect for her. Next disclaimer would be the fact that YA is a genre, not a restriction, so I'm going to be judging Throne of Glass based off of it being a YA novel. You don't go into an action movie and judge it based on criteria for a rom-com. Alright, so we're gonna start with a little bit of an unorganized summary for all y'all out there. So, Throne of Glass follows an assassin who has been enslaved / imprisoned, and her journey. So we have a lovely, horrible king. He has decided, you know what I really need? You know what really would spice up the community here? If I had my own personal assassin. You know what else would be cool? I'm not gonna just pick my own personal assassin. I am going to hold a contest, and everybody of noble standing who wants to can go out, pick their champion, and bet on it each other like horse races, right? Okay? But Princey Pooh over here, right? He decides that he is gonna also bring in his own champion, and he picks. Let's get into some of the notable characters to mention. Selena, the assassin in question, she is Allison Argent from Teen Wolf. If you know both stories, you know what I mean. Back me up in the comments, kids. Then we have Dorian. He doesn't really, now this is Princey Pooh, he doesn't really remind me of anyone in particular. Thing number one that Dorian is, our token YA character with blue eyes and black hair. Thing number two that Dorian is, our token, cocky, attractive male lead. He's both things, all wrapped in one. Then we have our third notable character, and that would be Cale. Cale is basically 4 from Divergent. Brooding, professional. He's also very similar to Dimitri from the Vampire Academy. He is Selena's trainer, and he's kind of in love with her, similar to Dimitri.
Okay. Yeah, this is going well.
Alright, that's all for the section that isn't really super spoiler central. This is where we get more critical, and if you haven't read it and you want to stay, I'm not going to stop you. I don't particularly think it really ruins much. Thought number 1. I did try to read this book 3 times before I successfully completed it. It's something to do with the writing style. It can be overly descriptive and very flowery at times, which I don't think is necessarily a bad thing. It's just not exactly a page-turner type of way to tell a story. An example of this would be there are multiple times when Selena is fighting, or my personal least favorite, when she is exploring the tunnels of the castle through that portal in her room, and we get this million-year description of
how she's turning and going upstairs, and she comes across a lake, and then there's a river, and then there's a gate, and then there's, oh man, there's another room, and there's a tomb.
Now, I care about how she began the journey, And if she made it to her destination, gentle details in the middle, I don't care about
All of the 57 stairs she took and how tired it made her going up and down and turning left and right and up and down and left.
the same type of stuff happens during the action sequences. It's a whole lot of,
She elbowed him and turned him, kicked him, punched him, bah, bah.
and it's like, great. The whole time I was thinking, if this was put into a film adaptation of some sort, would the person who choreographed said fight sequences use the descriptions? Because let me tell you, they're descriptive enough that you really could. And I couldn't really picture it exactly how I think she pictured it when writing it, just because it was so overly
Like left, right, boom, pow, pow.
it was just a little unnecessary. I know that the fighting aspect that I'm complaining about is something that doesn't bother a lot of people. Action sequences, no matter the form, I find them fairly boring. But the descriptions of going up and down the stairs and through the corridors and all of that, it was ridiculously over the top. I didn't need it. I do want to say that I really enjoyed this novel. I had a really fun time with it, but once I finally committed, it grew on me. And I also know that it's a first novel in a fantasy series. I'm aware how popular they are, so I know that the characters grow and develop. I have faith, and also I do really like the characters. So another thing I noticed in regards to the writing style, I could really feel her character development. It was like she was checking boxes, like Dorian met up with Selena again, check, their relationships developed a little bit further. It was just so overly structured sometimes. I felt like Selena and Cale's relationship was a little bit more natural feeling, just because Dorian and Selena, it was very much like he came to her room every night at midnight. They play pool, they play chess. Towards the end, it started to feel more organic, and I really do like their relationship a lot. I'm probably Team Dorian, in truth, over Cale. But I felt Sarah J. Maas was checking boxes, and it didn't feel as organic as it could have.
Next on the list.
We enter into said situation knowing that she is the greatest assassin in all the land. We are told this. We are very much just told it and not really shown it. The first time we see her fight, she gets beat almost instantly by Cale. And granted, he's the captain of the guard, I understand, but she's the best assassin in all the land, and you're telling me she can't take down a 19-year-old guard? I understand she's malnourished. I just feel like through the first half of the novel, I didn't really see Selena being as badass as everyone was saying she was. I actually didn't even really notice it at all until the archery sequence. Which is very Katniss of them, by the way. Can we talk about that? Did it not feel exactly like that scene in the Hunger Games series when Katniss shoots at the Capitol people and then she's all like, "Thank you for your consideration."
Thank you for your consideration.
It literally was set up the exact same way, except Selena didn't shoot at them, but you know what I mean. Okay, let's talk about Caltain as a villain type character, and villains in general in this book, because I think that they're lacking. Caltain, to start, she reminded me a little bit of characters also in Vampire Academy, such as Mia, and I forget, but in the movie, the character played by Sarah Hyland. She was annoying like those characters and also evil like those characters, more or less, kind of a spoiler for Vampire Academy. I've definitely read something before that did that same trope where it was like, Caltain's getting headaches. Huh, why are we reading these blurbs on this random character? Also, she's getting headaches. It may actually be Vampire Academy. I think Vampire Academy did a plot line where one of the characters was losing time and getting headaches. Let me know if that's a thing that actually happened in the comments, please. So anyway, the instant that Caltain got her own little blurbs and she started talking about her headaches, I thought for sure Caltain was like some magical werewolf type of being that she didn't know she was, and she was losing time, and she was the one going around killing all the champions. That's not what was going on. The villain ended up being Cale, which, well, I mean, and the Duke, who was like manipulating Caltain, and then of course there's always the King of Adarlan. But I just felt like the villains in this book were really underdeveloped and could have really been
super strong.
Cale was too predictable, I think, to have been the guy behind killing all of the assassins. And as for Caltain, I think she could have been a really awesome villain if she wasn't just being manipulated. If she was the one that was actually doing the killing, that would have been cool. I'm guessing we're gonna see more of the king in later novels, if I read them. Moving on. Let's just talk about the love triangle set up in this, yeah? It is subtle because Dorian and Selena's relationship is not subtle. Dorian is over here shouting to the rooftops how much he loves Selena, and Selena, I think, really at this point is only into him from a lust standpoint. Dorian's really over here like,
Did I mention that I'm in love with you, and I would give my kingdom for just one kiss?
that's Dorian. Then we have Cale and Selena, who I feel like at this point is being developed a little bit more like a love type of situation, just because it's a slow burn. I do think that Dorian and Selena are going to be endgame for like royal reasons, but and I'm not saying I support Cale more. All of you have read all of the books after this. I still feel like you have to admit, in the first novel, on Selena's part, it seems like Selena is more into Cale when it comes to like developing a true relationship, and when it comes to Dorian, she's a little bit more like, he's attractive, I guess. Characters I would love to see more of include Nox. He felt like he was there for kind of no reason except to be Selena's ally as a champion. Also, the other kid, the poison kid, the kid was good with poisons. The poisons. Am I wrong?
The poison for Cusco. The poison chosen specially to kill Cusco. Cusco's poison. Fat poison?
Yes, that poison.
Got you covered.
I would have loved to see more of them, and they're both still alive, so I hope they come back later on. I would like to see more of Nehemia as a character. She's really awesome. I didn't really understand Selena thinking that she was going around killing everybody. There was zero evidence to support that. She was like, oh no, she actually speaks the common tongue? Well, that must mean she's murdering everyone. Like, okay, Selena, okay, alrighty. Now, to finish this out, I kind of wanted to end on a positive note and mention some of my favorite moments from this book. First, connecting to Nox is that scene where they're doing the test and they're climbing up the building or the rock wall, whatever it is. You know what I'm talking about. Nox falls and Selena saves him. So cool! She just jumps right off and saves him. She tells the other champion next to her, like, don't cut the rope or I'll kill you, as if he wouldn't just kill her if he cut it in the first place. She's like, don't mess with me, bro, and she jumps off, just soaring through the sky, Spider-Man style, saves Nox. Like, what? So cool. All the Dorian moments, I do feel like they're a little bit structured, but I really like Dorian and Selena's banter. Am I British?
I think I've got great banter.
I really like Dorian and Selena's dynamic. I was looking forward to it a lot. So those are my basic thoughts on Sarah J. Maas, her novel, Throne of Glass. I will be picking up the next novel in this series. My name is Katie. Thank you so much for having an honest discussion with me about Sarah J. Maas's Throne of Glass. I will leave all my social media links in the description below in case you are interested in checking me out. I do tweet a lot about random opinions about books and TV shows and movies that nobody seems to care about, and if you've stumbled upon this video, you might just care. Thank you guys so much for watching. Subscribe if you want to. Alright everybody, bye!